the past 6 years. For the past 2 years, I've been in Tokyo. I work for Commerce during the day, and during the night, like most Israelis, I try to do something different and get rich and stop working. So I've been trying to run some ideas in the past year, and I'll try to give some impressions or experiences on how trying to be an entrepreneur in Japan is. So the first step I had to do was actually to find someone to work with. My capabilities are limited, and I wanted to find someone to work with and do things. And like everything, you try to network and meet people, and you meet someone and say, yeah, let's go meet for lunch, or you go to a bar and you start talking, and you tell him about your idea, and he's getting really excited, and yeah, I like this idea, and I want to do it, let's meet, let's have a meeting, and so forth and so forth, and you never hear from him again, ever. He doesn't call you, he doesn't email you, he doesn't email you back, and you're like, what was wrong? Do I stink? Do I have a problem? Why doesn't he call me back? So the first thing I should have learned when I arrived to Japan was hone and tatemae. So hone, I'll make this very boring explanation short. Hone is the truth, when somebody tells you the truth. And tatemae is not a lie, but is something in the Japanese culture or framework of how they are expected to behave. For example, if you're in a situation in a bar and somebody tells you his idea, and he's very excited about his idea, then the Japanese person will take the position and say, yeah, your idea is really good, because he wants you to feel good. He doesn't want to embarrass you and make you lose face. And that's something that, even until today, I have no idea when somebody is being honest with me and being hone and who's using his tatemae. So this is my least favorite part about Japan, tatemae. So after I understood, somebody explained to me why they're lying to me and never calling me back and so forth, I tried to understand why they actually don't call me back and want to do something together and start our own business. So my disclaimer is that this is my opinion as a foreigner in Japan. If there is any academia people or people that have spent more time in Japan than me, then feel free to argue with me. I like that. There's not a big enough talent pool in Japan. So the people that you find to try and work with are very limited. There are not many of them. People in Japan prefer lifetime employment. It is changing. Times are changing. People are leaving their big companies and changing to other positions, but still lifetime employment is a very important value. And when people stay in big companies, it's hard for you to convince them to come out and do something with you. This problem is not only for Japan, it's a huge issue in Israel and Silicon Valley as well. Hire is very popular. You buy companies to get the talent into your company. So Japan is not alone there, it's just much worse. The vicious circle of VCs, even if you try and start your own business, there are very little investments by VCs in Japanese startups. They simply don't do it. SoftBank Capital opened an office in New York and is opening an office in San Francisco now. CyberEngine Capital is also doing investments out of Japan. It's very hard to find investments done by VCs in Japan. My opinion, why I say it's a vicious circle, there are simply no ventures to invest in. If there was something to put money into, they would actually try and do so. Law and bureaucracy. They make it very difficult to start a company. Back a few years ago in Japan, it was considered a huge honor if you had a KK or some sort of company, because it's a very difficult process to start a company, and it was regarded a high respect. But back in 2006, they changed the laws, and all you need is 1 yen and a board member to start a company. So this is, again, an opportunity or a situation that the government is trying to change to enable opportunities in Japan. And this is actually, I think, the most important part, is why there are no entrepreneurs in Japan. In the Japanese culture, failure is unacceptable. If here, or in Silicon Valley, somebody goes to a VC and says, here, look, I failed in doing these 5 startups, they're going like, oh, just have all this experience. Next time you have to succeed, so here's your money. But in Japan, if you fail once, you're an outcast. You don't find a job. Nobody will work with you. Your family might disown you and or stuff like that. So this is really, really a difficult situation in Japan, and the culture has to change because people will not take the risk to try and do something. And this is something that we all know. I mean, times have changed, the technology changes rapidly. If we want to succeed, I'm specifically talking about the software industry and the internet market. If we want to try and succeed, we have to be dreamers and try things that are out of the box. And one out of 10 of these things usually fail. And this is something that is hard to do in Japan. Now, I think the main point of this event is try to understand the potential of the Japanese market and why we should even go there and what it has to offer. So, first of all, I'll focus again on internet-based ventures. There's a very, very, very high level of internet penetration in Japan, which has a population of 127 million people. It's the highest internet penetration rate in the world on PC and mobile. People using mobile internet in Japan is insane. If you compare graphs that you see, it's a little blurry, but PC access and mobile access, you see the core market of 30 to 34 and 25 to 29, the internet penetration is really, really high, so the opportunity is there. People use the internet for almost everything. If we take e-commerce as an example, which is actually the venture that I'm trying to do, retail sales in Japan have been declining. It's been declining for about 1% annually for the past 5 years, whereas e-commerce is growing 17% year over year for the past 5 years. It's currently worth about $56 billion, the B2C market, worth about $56 billion, and represents only 3.3% out of the entire retail market. Now in the US, in comparison, the e-commerce market is already about 5.5% of total retail. So Japan has a lot to grow to reach the US. Competition in Japan in the internet market is relatively small. The market is being controlled by a few large players who are pretty much stuck in the 90s. I don't know if anybody knows Japanese website, but they suck. Very bad. In terms of UI, UX, technology, they suck. I'm sorry. Yeah, but they suck. Yeah, exactly. If we take Rakuten as an example, I don't know if anybody knows this website. So this is the leading e-commerce website in Japan, right? It's for this. I took this screenshot today, actually. So how much revenue, yearly revenue, does this company, this is their only e-commerce website, make a year in revenue?
Is this 5 years ago?
No, this is today. Actually, right today. So guesses are good. You know, it's not. Sorry?
5 billion.
Close. This company makes $6 billion in revenue every year. 6 billion. And their margin is over 10%.
What did I say?
It's an e-commerce platform. They sell it. It's like the Amazon of Japan. It's the Amazon of Japan, and they're kicking Amazon's ass. Literally, in every aspect, they're killing them. Their profitability is really high. Their margin is over 10% out of $6 billion yearly. And this is how their website looks like.
And Mix is bigger than Facebook.
It's very strange.
It's fading up.
Another huge opportunity in Japan is the amazing payment infrastructure. There are so many payment solutions in Japan that enable quick and simple monetization of internet-based services. If in the US or in Israel you have to consider fraud and how to monetize in every concept that you have, in Japan the infrastructure is available and ready. There are so many ways to get money from the consumer, from cash on delivery, that the delivery guy, you buy something on the internet and the delivery guy comes to your house, gives you the product, and you pay them. Or if you know, there's a new startup in the US called Pay Near Me. They tried to figure out a way on how to take real money from children and put it in the internet. Zynga and such companies have a problem. They sell virtual goods. And 30 13-year-old child goes to his dad and says, "Hey, Dad, can you buy me this sword in the game? It's only $15. And the dad says, "What are you talking about? I'm not buying you a sword. Go fish," right? So these companies, these kids don't have credit cards. They have to ask for money from the dad. So these companies try to find a way on how to take these kids' allowance and instead of spending it on coke, to spend it on virtual coke. Yeah. So what they did is they give this child a barcode that he gets to his smartphone, because every child has a smartphone, or he prints it and he goes to a 7-Eleven, and the 7-Eleven scans their barcode and they give them cash, and then the money goes from the real world to the virtual world. And this is like a huge concept, and Zynga and such companies are going crazy and monetizing and increasing their revenues like tenfold. And it's very new, but it's been in Japan for about 10 to 15 years now, because they had to figure out how to take the housewives' money. So it's available, this and cellular payments. Like everybody's trying to enable cellular payments now. Time, I have to go quickly. I'll do it quickly. Sorry. So Tadashi-san here works for a company that all their payments, they have 20 million subscribers in this website, and all of them pay using their cell phone through their phone. So the payment infrastructure is really, really evolved, and you can make tons of money over there. As everybody knows and mentioned, Japan is the 3rd largest economy in the world. Their GDP and so forth and blah, and blah, blah. There's a lot of money in this market, and the competition is fairly small. The opportunities are big. Not many entrepreneurs. There's really a good opportunity in Japan, and this is, I think, why our friends are here and why we are here. That's it.